my lovely people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is KateSemeniuk. I'm a hypnotherapist, and I'm talking everything and all about mental health, but from the subconscious point of view. And today, I would love to share my personal story. I think that people have this belief that hypnotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, they kind of figured out their life. But that's not always true. And I had my own story of suffering and pain. And in this video, I want to share the story of my addictions. I'm 35 years old. And at this point, of course, I am not addicted to those things anymore. I felt complete freedom from addictions only 2 years ago. Though I quit smoking 5 years ago, I still felt like that desire to smoke. I still had that, drive. And whenever someone would smoke and I would smell it, I would regress myself back to that amazing, for me, feeling of serenity, numbing the pain, So all of that was in my life since I was 12. I'm thinking about that and I'm like, my daughter is 12 right now. And at that moment, I look at her, she's just a child. She's a teenager, right? Turning into a teenager years. But I look at her and I can't believe that at that young age, I started to drink and I started to smoke. And I wouldn't say that I smoked 1 cigarette a day. I smoked 1 pack a day. I thought that it was because I wanted to be cool. Just like everyone else, when I work with clients with smoking, who wants to quit smoking, they say, well, I started to smoke because it was kind of cool. I wanted to fit in, which is true, right? The reason, because we want to fit in some cases. Some people don't start that early and some people start to smoke later in life. But for me, it was to fit in, but also to numb the feelings. And because I was with someone, was the company of friends, I felt like I belong. Why? Because I didn't feel like I belong. So people don't start smoking because it's just cool. No, there is a feeling that they're trying to numb, to ease, to soften, maybe to hide, suppress, repress, whatever it is the type of connection, right? We connect. So I started to smoke when I was at the summer camp and I was only 12. And the type of cigarettes we smoked was like horrendously there are no healthy cigarettes, but we smoked the most heaviest cigarettes out there. The cheapest one, of course. In my country at that time, there was no regulation. Right now, there is a great regulation for that, you cannot buy cigarettes under the age of 18, but at that time, you could buy cigarettes anywhere. So it was very accessible, right? Very available at every corner, you could buy a cigarette. So that also kind of added to the availability of the smoking. I started to smoke, and of course, because my body and your body as well, our bodies are so young and so healthy. Our bodies have natural inner resources to heal, to digest all of the stuff that we put in, including cigarettes as well, that you don't feel the harm to your health at all. Right? We smoke and we don't feel it. Now that I think about it, I don't think I would even survive smoking 1 pack of cigarettes a day. But at that time, at 12, 13, 14, and 15, and going forward, I didn't think it was that bad. I was like, I'm still healthy. I was very fit. I would play in basketball team. So it didn't really connect, but it was true for me. When I had my first child at 22 years old, I, of course, quit smoking. I really wanted to be, okay, I'm going to be on a healthy life path. So when I was pregnant, I was breastfeeding. I didn't smoke. But the first day that I stopped breastfeeding my baby, and she was 1 year and a half, I took the cigarette and I smoked again. And that feeling, and I'm not going to lie to you, that feeling was amazing. That feeling of inhaling the cigarette smoke was amazing for me. It was like a release from the 2.5 years of stress. And the previous 2.5 years before I stopped breastfeeding was really stressful for me emotionally. I had postpartum depression and I couldn't deal with it. And that cigarette gave me this release. So when people come to me and they say, I understand that it's so bad, and you probably say it's so bad to smoke, I say, I know how it feels. I know how it feels to smoke. And so that my addiction just reversed, went back, right? I regressed myself back to all of those coping mechanisms, numbing, suppressing, repressing. And I would hide it because my husband didn't smoke at that time. So he didn't like that habit. I would hide it. I would, be very like sneaky at how I protect that secret of me. And it was on and off. I smoked a lot. I smoked sometimes even 2 packs a day just to help myself with the stress. And when people told me about anxiety, I would say I didn't have anxiety. I didn't have anxiety because every time I felt anxious, I went and had a smoke. I would smoke when I drink. I would smoke when I don't drink. I would smoke everywhere and a lot. Right? Because that was my connection. I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't imagine myself without smoking. I thought that that's it. That's the end of my meaning. When I came to Canada, and I was at that time 29 years old, I also stopped smoking because cigarettes in Canada were very expensive. And I thought that, okay, this is it. I can do that. I can stop smoking. But the feeling, the drive, the desire, the craving was there, and it was so strong that I would love to walk past, like when the people would walk in downtown Calgary, I would walk and people would smoke. I would go behind them just to inhale that smoke, to be a passive smoker because I loved that smell. I enjoyed that smell. I thought like, will there ever be a time when I won't feel the desire, when I won't feel the craving for cigarettes? And it did come, and I'll tell you how. Another habit, addiction that I had is drinking. And I started to drink at 12 and heavily. I'm not saying about beer, root beer, or whatever small, like low alcohol, those, I don't know, soft drinks, right? Or soft spirits, I don't know, strong alcohol, vodka, right? Now that was the only available thing at that time. We didn't have expensive alcohol. So I drank from 12 years old, and I felt like that's the only way where I am myself. I was open, I was friendly, I was extroverted. I didn't have any fears. I could tell anything I wanted. I opened up my creativity, right? When I drank, I thought that my creativity just expanded. I thought that I could create anything, I could do anything. So that's like that freedom without any limitations and restrictions. I didn't, of course, know at that time how much of a harm I'm doing to myself, how much I'm escaping the pain from home. At home, at the time when I started to smoke and drink, we didn't have a really good family dynamic at that time. We had lots of stress at home. And now I look at that and I really understand that. I really, really feel even like this compassion towards my family at what they had to endure at that time. But I wanted to run away from it. And drinking so much didn't help when I opened my own business, and it was a restaurant, so I could have an unlimited access to alcohol, which I absolutely used. I drank a lot because I couldn't cope with the stress. Because I drank so much, of course, my decisions were slow. I couldn't expand my business because I was always hangover. I couldn't think about business decisions because, of course, I was not in the state of mind. I would drink and smoke, rinse, repeat. And another addiction that I had is binge eating. hiding chocolate bars under my mattress. I remember having money that I would have for lunch at the university, and I wouldn't eat anything, but I would go to the store after the classes and I would buy myself like chocolate bars, just eat all, because there was still pain, lots of pain that I didn't know how to deal with. What happened? That I stopped doing it right away, and I look at that right now and I'm indifferent to cigarettes. It doesn't mean that I love them or I hate them. No, that's the thing. When you start to hate smoking, it's also you go into intensive feelings. No. The best way is in the middle, when you're indifferent, but you completely understand other people who smoke. So you have this attitude of compassion, right? You have this feeling like, oh, wow, that's their choice, and they also are trying to deal or cope with stress or pain, whatever issues they have in their life. So this is what I developed. And what helped me is hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy helped me to uncover the root, the cause, to uncover all of those feelings that I connected with the cigarette and with the alcohol and with the binge eating. And after that, of course, everything changed, but now I look at the cigarettes and I don't have any feelings towards it. And that's the best feeling that you need if you want to quit smoking. You don't have to make yourself hate it. You don't have to make yourself, like resentful towards it, because you will be regretting. Like a lot of people have regrets, like, oh, I smoked for so many. They start to regret all of those years that they spent smoking. And that is the cycle. Because regret is pain. Regret, guilt, and shame is pain that you're trying to suppress with something else. That's why when people quit smoking with some kind of smoking cessation treatments, if they didn't go to the root cause, the addiction will morph into something else. They will start to do something else. So the belief that you start to gain weight when you stop smoking is not because it's just something like that. No, it's because you connect to something else. You still need to suppress those feelings. The cigarettes are not there, but you need another habit. Your mind will never eliminate. It wants to substitute. Remember, you cannot eliminate some kind of habit from your life. You need to substitute it in order to make that process easier for you. So please, when you try to change some habits, if you eliminate it and you don't substitute it with anything else, with something positive, for example, then it will be really hard. You need a substitution, and you need something else instead of it, because it will find its way out. The root cause, if it's not resolved, it will find its way out. Your mind always wants to substitute, to find the substitution for the feelings, emotions, habits, and behaviors and reactions as well. I hope my story will be for benefit of you, will benefit you, and you will find some insight, and you will understand that there is nothing wrong in connecting to. There is no wrong or right things in this world. If you listen to the Buddha, right? There is no wrong or right. All the actions, all the behaviors, all of our reactions and emotions and feelings are just the cause and of previous actions and previous programming. So there is no bad, or it just is. It's no bad or good. And the same with your attitude towards any addiction that you might have, or maybe you had it in the past. You need to become indifferent to it so that you can gain the real freedom. So if you like that, please write down in the comment if you have anything to share, your addiction, and what was your best way to overcome it, right? Maybe you substituted it with something else. Maybe you found the way that works the best for you. Please write it down. I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts if you would like to work through your addictions, fears, anxiety, and every feeling that triggers us to take unhealthy habits or to connect to unhealthy behaviors. I invite you to my course. My online course is a 15-day intensive course that can work through all of the issues you have, the most challenging problems that you experience during your everyday life. It's a self-paced course. The link is in the description. I love you all. Be healthy emotionally and physically. Bye.